Hi, this is Emma Hemming-Willis.
And I'm Helen Christoni.
Welcome to our Make Time podcast. We are two women on a mission to uncover the secrets of making time for everything.
From work and relationships to our brain, body, and beauty, we'll explore it all and share it with all of you.
We interview experts so we can discover more practical tips to make time so we have more time for our family, friends, and ourselves.
So join us as we chat with incredible guests who share their expertise on all the ways we can learn to make time, especially for you.
Okay, it's time to make time. Today we're talking with Natalie Tran, Executive Director of the CAA Foundation, the philanthropic arm of Creative Artists Agency. Natalie leads initiatives that leverage the entertainment, media, and sports industries to drive social change, focusing on education, civic engagement, and climate action. In 2018, she co-founded I Am a Voter, a nonpartisan awareness campaign that aims to create a cultural shift around voting and civic engagement by engaging brands and talent. In 2020, Tran led the formation of the Civic Alliance, a nonpartisan coalition of businesses united by a commitment to a thriving democracy. So there's no better person to educate us today on how we can make time to vote. Natalie, welcome to the Make Time podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
We're happy to get into this with you all about voting today and the importance.
Yeah. So, everybody within a month, we are going to be having our general elections here in the United States and all across the United States, and where we all really need to do our part as citizens of this great country to kind of take that seriously and show up. So I just want to ask you, Natalie, why is it so important for people to make time to vote?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for making time for this conversation because it's so important. And there really is so much at stake this election. I know everybody's been saying that, but aside from just voting for our president and vice president, we have 33 out of 100 seats in the Senate that are up for election. Every single seat in the House of Reps are up for election. We have governor seats, legislator seats, school board elections, literally every single thing that could affect our day-to-day lives and the people that we love are on the ballot this year.
That's so important, and I didn't know that.
Well, it's just also very overwhelming when you're like, oh yeah, there's actually so much more. And then how do we even figure that part out?
Yeah, so one of my favorite websites that we always direct people to at I Am a Voter is called Ballotpedia. And if you go on Ballotpedia, you type in your zip code where you're registered to vote, and it will tell you everything that's on your local ballot, including local races and local pieces of legislation. And they'll kind of just walk you through in a nonpartisan way the pros and cons. And it really sort of allows you to sort of make that decision for yourself, but it just brings all of the information to you.
I think that's really interesting because I think that, we are all so bombarded by the news, different news channels, different perspectives on, different policies, social media, and everything around this election has gotten so loud. And so, so just as an example, we live in Los Angeles, and if we were to go to Ballotpedia, how long should we set aside to really kind of dig in? Because everybody's really busy, so for our listeners, if they want to get involved and they're just thinking that they don't have the time, we need to make time. How much time do you need to carve out for this?
It's a great question. And I always say we sort of make time for the things that are really important to us, right? I don't eat breakfast, so I don't make time for breakfast, but I do make time for big lunches and big dinners because those things are important. I make time to call my girlfriends because they're important in my life. So I kind of put this in the same category, the things you want to try and make time for. And by that, I mean, do it over your morning coffee, do it 15 minutes, 30 minutes. But I do say take the time to read because these things are affecting our lives. Think of this 30-minute investment might impact your life for the next 4 years or even 10 years. So that when you kind of look at it that way, 30 minutes actually isn't too much compared to what this could impact for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, and for the lives of our families too and our children, that's so important. So If people haven't made time to register to vote yet, can you just break that down for us? Like if you haven't registered to vote and it's cut off, like what can you do? If you could just talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's a great question. And I wish there was just one blanket answer for everybody. But every single state has different registration deadlines, has also different voter ID requirements. In some states like California, we're pretty lucky. Everybody is 100% vote by mail. So you get your ballot in the mail if you'd like, or you can go in person and vote in person as well. So every single state is different. What I would recommend is go to iamavoter.com or find us on Instagram at iamavoter. And what we do is we list everything just in one place, whether it's your voter registration deadline or your voter ID requirements. You can find it state by state on Instagram. So every sort of state is different. And I would just recommend that everybody make sure to look up what it is in your own state, in your own zip code, just so you show up at the polls and you have everything you need to vote.
So, like I was talking about earlier, so many people are being bombarded by social medias. Everybody's different, like takes on policies and how they affect you. And maybe they haven't gone to and done the research yet. So what if you don't want to register with a party? Like maybe you're undecided. How do you do that? Like if you don't want to register as a Republican or a Democrat, and maybe you just want to be kind of in the middle,
Nonpartisan.
Switzerland, bipartisan. Thank you on this. Like, what do they do?
Independent?
Yeah.
Yes, you can. I mean, in certain states, everything is going to be different. And the other thing too is you can also change parties. Depending on what it is, whether it's a general election or a primary or a caucus, some states may give you the opportunity to declare your political party and other states may not. So again, every single state is totally different.
Mm-hmm.
I wish there was an easy answer and I wish they made it easy for all of us, but every single state is different. I know you guys have listeners all over the country, so I don't want to give sort of details on just one state, just in case some of your listeners that may not apply.
But I do love I Am a Voter, especially because I think that you guys do break it down in very simplistic form, right? Like you're speaking to that younger generation and an older generation as well. And I just really love what the website, how it's organized, what you can find. And I think that's helpful in this day and age where things seem so complicated, especially with social media, with things just coming at you 100 miles a minute.
Yeah. And tell us a little bit about I'm a Voter and how it was started and why.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly for that reason that you said. As sort of consumers ourselves, we found that even the most simple pieces of information sometimes could be buried in multiple websites or different .gov sites. And so we thought, what would it be like if we just surfaced what we thought were some of the most important bite-sized pieces of information that we could all just create one hub for it? And that was sort of the genesis behind I'm a Voter. And then we also wanted to create a platform where brands could feel really comfortable to come into the fold, to really leverage their platforms and their unique relationship with their audiences to talk about voting. So we just launched an amazing campaign with Urban Outfitters. It's all around the fact that it takes about 2 minutes for somebody to register to vote. They're going to push this out in all of their stores. And we know that their consumers, they're the people that are shopping at Urban Outfitters, are actually such an important group this year for voting, the youth vote. And so we have so many other amazing partners like Urban Outfitters. Away Luggage is doing a really amazing partnership with us. And it's kind of really leveraging popular culture and brands to really help get out the vote. So it's really exciting. One of my favorite things that we just posted the other day is people are more likely to cast their ballot when someone they trust asks them to vote. So it's all about getting our followers to really think about their networks. And everybody who follows us is an influencer within themselves. If you know more than one person, that means you have a network. That means you have an opportunity to get somebody out there. I mean, only 2/3 of voters showed up in 2020. So we still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. I mean, I think this is just such an important time, like we were saying, for our country, for our future, and everyone should really feel empowered. So I really love the kind of actionable tips you've given our listeners today and really breaking it down for us. So now we love to ask everyone that comes on the Make Time podcast, what are you not making time for that you need to commit to making more time for?
Well, this is such a good conversation for me to have because as I'm saying it out loud, I was like, I need to make time to go on Ballotpedia and really look through what I'm voting for in a few weeks. So I haven't done that yet, but you all have inspired me and I need to make time for that.
Oh, see, that's interesting because I thought you would have already known and like had it all sort of in your head. So that makes me feel much better that even you, Natalie, need to go and check it out to sort of figure that out.
So we're going to link Ballotpedia, I'm a Voter, and all these links below in the show notes. But Natalie, how do we find you?
You can follow us on Instagram at I am a voter or go to our website at iamavoter.com.
Awesome. And we need to ask all of our listeners to really make sure that you make time to go out there, check out things on Ballotpedia, follow I'm a Voter, and make time to get out there and vote.
Make time to vote. Absolutely. Natalie, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope that listening to our podcast has empowered you to make more time for yourself. So make sure to subscribe, please leave a review, and share with a friend who could use a healthy reminder on the importance of making time.
And make sure to keep tuning in as we will continue to bring on incredible guests to share their Make Time tips on our upcoming episodes. And come say hi over at Make Time Pod or visit us at maketimewellness.com.
Until next time, make time.